We are now in episode 4, right? Yeah, in episode 4. We are going to do 2 interlude episodes where I'm the one who is going to talk. I'm going to talk about the book's journey in the interludes. Now, this gives a great opportunity for us to align our episode participants in for the episode 4, 5, and 6. And episode 4 is going to be the shadows of the illustrious, and episode 5 is going to be the protagonist of Ramayana, Ram himself. So you know what to expect from the book. Very interesting stories, and we are going to look at one portion of what he has done there after the coronation. So we're going to focus on that. And the 6th is the titular story, which is the bachelor's wife herself. So it's going to be an interesting development given. I think I took Shweta's input to heart. It's always been the way we have worked. She suggests something, then I mull over it, we come with a different and improved plan, and it has always worked for us, right? And so this episode is going to be interlude 1 of season 1, between episode 3 and episode 4. And we're going to talk about when the book, let's call this as when the story left us. That is, we got we selected the print publisher, Notion Press. We did everything, and we received the first copies of the book, right? Shweta in Bangalore and I in Chennai got some books. So we'll start from there, right? So what is so interesting about this journey? This journey is the story was written and it left the room. So the first conversations, we said we wanted to do it in Bangalore because between Bangalore and Chennai, Bangalore had a better ambience. I had worked in Bangalore earlier. Shweta had also her own crowd. So we said we will do in Bangalore. So we had picked up a store. We're looking at some very good places to start. Then and Attagalata, which is in Indranagar, Bangalore, was our first launch point. So on January 14th, we launched this book, and Anuradha Goyal, who is thespian in this space. She has been one of the great writers and also great, I would say, orators, and has a strong following, and her deep sense of spirituality, combining the scriptures, the Upanishads and Vedas, and of course Ramayana and Mahabharata, and then connecting them with modern day lives. So basically going back to the roots, sort of author. Before we also wanted to get one more person who's again a successful author in this space, Sai Swarupaya, but her dates couldn't match, so we went with Ms. Anuradha Goyal. So the conversation was supposed to be a straightforward inauguration session. So Shweta started with her beautiful rendition of different quotes and how it felt personal for her. Then I talked about my journey with the book, which covered some specific instances of why how I wrote the book when my mom passed away, and how on Shweta's side, how the book was essentially created when her father passed away, and so we carry those personal losses into the editing and the publishing portions of this book. So the book took about 3 years to shape, with suitable pauses because of our personal losses. Then we talked about what Ram meant to us through this book, and what is the position of this book versus other great works, and what are the sources we referenced, all of that. And Anuradha ji talked about how authenticity and the qualities of yesteryears, how they connect back to this year, and how modern society is more individualistic, and how even authors have started giving modern interpretations of each of these stories. So, but having said that, I think she also made a point about a few learnings that she got through this book, especially between the Ahalya and Vishwamitra connection in the story of what we call as the final redemption, which is the first story of the book. So that's and then we met people, and in fact, I think people took a lot of signed copies. We had a very good post event interaction with the with the people who gathered, and most of them were friends and family, as you would expect, and maybe there were a couple of more inquisitive bypassers. And I would want to mention that Attakalata did a great job in terms of organizing, and I want to thank the owners and management of Attakalata. But one thing that I've realized is that after the event, how do we follow through? We haven't cracked that part yet. I'll come to that a little later. But Attakalata is a great place. We want to go back there, again for probably another reading session, and see how we can create that magic that we had during the inaugural. Then, then what happened is we were not sure how to go to the next level. Then Shweta traveled to Bhopal during the second half of January, and then she conducted a Ramayana quiz, and she got a fairly good amount of gathering. It's one of her favorite places and her native place, and it was led by Shweta. And so the story, I think people picked up the book, signed copies, photographs, all of that. But when she went and reached out to a few stores, they said that, hey, you know what, we don't take it from authors, we take, and especially Notion Press, we take it from only, traditional publishers. So that was our first, I would say bitter pill. But having said that, we converted that into a learning. Now, then I think February was like, looking at different options. Which city do we go? Then we looked at Chennai. Now, if you look at Chennai, I had connected with Moo Market. Moo Market is next door for me, and Grand Mall Velachery, where I had made a good a friend out of Mr. Abdul Razik, who is a book enthusiast. He started selling books right from the age of 8. They have fabulous, setup here, more like Hogwarts, Harry Potter themed bookstore. Not only here but across Chennai. In Kadarnavaskan Road. They opened recently, and then they have in other places like Ampa Skywalk Mall, then Marina Mall. And they also have one in I think Garuda Mall in Bangalore. So when Shweta went there, I think that's how we started reaching out. But I think there was a scheduling issue. They had a 10-day book fair sort of thing happening, but we couldn't convert that opportunity. I think apparently there was a good footfall, but somehow it didn't work for us. So we said we will do that in March. So in March, mid-March, we did this event. We did a book signing ceremony. Of course, this was on a Saturday, I remember, and there were a few passers-by, curious onlookers. One of them came, sat with us, talked about the books, and they see, well, everyone who happens to talk with us is a convert, right? The book, then they realize that this is not the usual book of a chronological storytelling of Ramayana. It's not a feminine point of view. It is not an alternate reality of the story. This is more of keeping the story intact and then looking at each of these characters and situations differently, often retrospectively, and using fiction to create that space to hold the character, stay with the character. So that's the sort of writing we've done. So while Moor Market didn't get us through, we had some sales there. Again, the challenge with Moor Market as it stands today is that uh, after our events, I think the book has not picked up. So it's a similar challenge that we had with Atagalata. So that's one problem to be solved. So we then subsequently we went to our event in ODC. So ODC is one of Chennai's best bookstores. They have a natural footfall, erudite readers, mostly from the Adyar, Besan Nagar area. The subject should have and was appealing to them. So good part is that we got Hema Ravi, who's our convener of Chennai Poetry Circle. Many of you know that I'm a poet also. So I write a poet and I have been part of their anthologies. So when I turned up there, we turned up half an hour late, and she was holding forth with the audience. We realized that the entire crowd, believe me or not, was from Chennai Poetry Circle. So Chennai Poetry Circle, so that they are fairly well read. They are very involved. So and Hema Raviji also had prepared a set of questions which were very in depth. In fact, she had shared some of the. She had shared the questions and asked if we could answer those questions, and we of course were prepared. It gives an opportunity to think through some of the answers, and more importantly, I think the audience were also well informed. There are people, Vedic scholars in the group, people who had read Valmiki Ramayana, especially discovering Shanta, and one of the audience questions was around was Gautama right to curse Ahalya when it was Indra's mistake? So some of those philosophical discussions happen. In fact, there's a separate YouTube video on that if you want to. It was a wonderful session. My family was present, and Shweta had driven down all the way from Bangalore for Moor Market and this event. So it was a very I would say engaging and insightful conversation, and of course again there were bookstores, and what we understand is that unlike Moor Market or Attagalata, I think I have a performing relationship with ODC. So I think most of the books had sold by then, and in fact we have to reconvene and see how we can push into more of ODC. So that was the Chennai book tour. Then so by that time what happened was, I'm part of a book group called Book Speak on Facebook, and also a closer group called Book Gobblers on WhatsApp. So I'm part of that. I would say that I am the least reading person in the group. The others consume almost a book a week or even less. They read from whatnot, Baldacci to John Grisham to and a lot of books that that are Booker prized or Pulitzer prized. So imagine the that level of readership. So they are so when I offered them that why don't you explore this book, would you support buying this book, then they said yeah. So one of my friends and Anaga Fernandez, who likes my writing, I think, I think we discovered that we are few months apart. So she is in a sense my Didi, and she kind of said, "Yeah, why don't we all explore? Who wants to buy can buy." But they wanted signature author copies, author signed copies. So I brought in some kalamkari cards. It's something that I've not done. So I've shipped books, but this time I want to do something different. So I ordered kalamkari cards from Amazon. Handwritten note, and then bubble wraps and all of that. No, so my family had fun sending these across, and yeah, that was a very good experience. Like that these people would read. Then after that, the Goa tour happened. Anand had offered that because Shweta was happening to pass by Goa with her family and friends. So like the Bhopal episode, we said we will not, we will try. So when that happened, it happened in Cafe Tar Tatulia, and I think no one turned up. Believe me. Anaga was busy with her mom's health, and I think there were others who could have but couldn't. Then, having said that, I think that was a nice experience. I could. Shweta met her friend, long time friend. I think I could say that it was a. I think we held the breeze during that discussion. Then we came. Then she came back, and then it was year end, so all busy. And then Shweta said, "Why don't we plan another event in Bangalore?" And this time we were looking for many places like Rang Shankara, anything that could make sense. We could get more crowd. Then of course we decided to look at. She said, "Why don't we do it in my home?" So that happened. This was, I think, few people turned up. Of course, it was slightly off a little far off from the city, and Bangalore has this funny, notorious traffic. So I reached there almost like 2 hours from where I stayed from Whitefield to her place, and then we sat very nicely on the rajai and mattress, and what a wonderful house she has. And we had one new friend called Socks. She taken in a rescued cat, and thanks to Hitesh, her husband, and Omisha, her daughter, this was a beautiful experience. But about few people came in, but they had read the book. They wanted to listen to the author, which is me. So it was again a very interesting session. Went for about an hour, and then we had our samosa chai, and then I returned back. Long story short, I think we have what started in Bangalore has come back to Bangalore. That's where it is, and I think people have picked books, and there are wonderful reader feedback coming in from I don't want to name them, but some of them are still closed. Then yesterday, I think not yesterday, day before, we got this news that Amazon is performing for us in terms of reach outs, and believe me, hardcovers are selling more than paperbacks. The book is just picking up, doing well, and I'm happy to travel depending on our schedule to other cities of India, and maybe even other places outside India as time passes. But believe me or not, the book is there out and about, Bachelor's Wife, and the journey has uh, anything but been interesting. It's amazing, in terms of how Shweta has done her bit, how book gobblers have done their bit. Special thanks to Anaga and Poyani and others of book gobblers, book speak, and Gauri. I can name on, and special thanks to our beta readers, Saumya and Charu, our editor Falguni. So I think we have an amazing set of people who have been behind the book and who are reading the book. So here is what's going to happen next. I think we are going to talk more about another aspect of this journey in the next interlude, post which I think we will look at coming through in terms of I think episode 4, 5 and 6, as I talked to you. There are some special guests joining us, people who have read the book, people who have contributed to the book beyond me and Shweta, and that's going to be very interesting, and we are always open for ideas. Okay, this is a wonderful journey. It has been a wonderful journey so far. The book is finding its way to its readers, and of course there is a lot more to do, lot more to come. So here is Ashok Subramanian signing off in the interlude 1 of season 1, Bachelor's Wife and Other Stories.
Are not educated on in Sanskrit, and if you go to the actual Valmiki Ramayana, to be honest, Valmiki was not one person. This is my humble understanding. It is a lineage of poets who developed the story. It started as a